Hey, what's going on, everyone? Lamar here, both watching another episode of The Expanse. This is going to be Season 2, Episode 9, The Weeping Somnambulist. Somnambulist? I think it's The Weeping Somnambulist. I think that's called. Quick little recap what happened last episode. We saw kind of like a Belter revolt on Tycho Station. We found out that there was a person who was working for Anderson Dawes, and Anderson Dawes is basically separating himself from Fred Johnson, so there was basically like a move against Fred Johnson. And some Belters got killed. The ones who initially made the revolt on the station, they were killed by Fred's number 2. I can't remember her name right now. Hopefully they'll get more into it in the show. But yeah, she took a bullet, just put 2 in these guys, and it was just like over. Like, she was ridiculous. Like, you're not gonna be messing with her. Yeah. Also, we learned about this guy who's like a biologist, a person who's on Ganymede Station. And the person who's actually like waving, like if you from the episodes before, like the fight on Ganymede Station, where there's someone waving, it was actually his daughter, May, and she was taken away from Ganymede Station by her pediatrician, who was like a biologist, like some type of scientist. I think it was a biologist, but he was working there as a pediatrician, and he took. I'm going to say Mr. May, May's dad. I can't pronounce his first name. But he took her daughter away from the station before the attack. I don't know if he knew the attack was coming, or like he scheduled the attack, or what was going on there. But like he removed her from it. So hopefully this episode will tell us, more of what's going on there, what's happening, why he did that. We learn a little bit more with like Amos doesn't really want to hurt people, but if he has to, he will. And he even like broke it down to Alex, and it's like, yeah, don't make me hurt you because I don't want to, but like don't make me do that because he needs you to fly the ship. So it's like, you're important, but it's not like you're important to me and like it matters to everyone. No, it's like you need to fly the ship, and like I don't want to hurt you because it's Amos, so if he hurts you, it's almost over. Okay, so yeah, yeah, it was a quick little recap. The biologist came in. The innards. They got spaced. The ones that were on Ganymede Station, they came on the refugee ship because the Belters they spaced them out. And the doctor, he was like, he was a report of crime, but he didn't know where to go, and he thought that James and Naomi was like out to like get him or like to get rid of him or something because he spoke about it. But they didn't know about that, and they didn't actually care. It was more about why was he on Ganymede Station? Like, did he know that doctor and stuff? And now the scientist, well, the botanist, he's a botanist, is taking the crew of the Rocinante onto Ganymede Station. And Fred was basically like, if you do this, you're not going to be welcome back on Tycho Station. And like their clapback was basically, well, after what just happened, how long do you think you'll be in charge of Tycho Station? So, there's a lot of stuff happening. Let's get into the episode. It's not for me talking. So let's get into this episode. Somnambulist. Let's go. Oh, that's the ship. Somnambulist.
Somnambulist has Brentier trade regulation AS66 prepared to be boarded.
Mars rains hell on Ganymede, and now they're treating us as if we were the criminals.
It's a routine stop, nothing more.
Then why are they jamming our code?
Manifest and IDs, please.
Look.
Here.
I'm gonna have to search the rest of the ship.
No. You.
Sure, let's waste some more time. It's just food and medicine for Ganymede. We're not transporting any weapons. That's everything. You satisfied?
There's no one else on board, I assure you.
We're gonna have to impound the ship.
That's outrageous.
Calm down.
No! Enough is enough! We're getting rough! What the hell?
Really? Come on.
Melissa, are you alright?
Wait, is that James?
Wait, I know you. I've seen your face all over Sirius Station. You're James Holden.
Well, this is off to a good start.
Okay, so he's boarding the truck. Oh, yeah, because he's got a mark. He said that Yeah, the Rocinante is a Martian ship. Right.
Earth's gravity is hell on the Martian physique. You need to take 1 dose of each of these every day, starting now. And I strongly recommend that you use these as well for when we land. This you left on your bunk.
I forgot it.
No, you didn't.
You searched my quarters?
Yes, I did. Because I have orders to follow too, and the defense minister wants you wearing this when you give your statement. There's a lot riding on you, Gunny.
Down and locked. Thrusters off. Clear for disembark.
All right, everyone. Those of you who've been here before will remember it's not a long walk to the embassy entry. Remember, keep your eyes front. Do not look up. The UN likes to fly a lot of drones around our compound, so maintain your dignity. Stay strong. Not here to give the Blues anything to laugh about.
He's not even with the shades.
On your feet. Forget your sunglasses too, Gunny.
No, sir.
He actually just boss. Flying through that.
The Arbogast is nearly at Venus. They should have gotten long-range scans of the Eris impact site by now.
Just some preliminary atmospheric readings. They haven't seen anything they didn't expect. I've been getting personal updates from Colonel Janice.
I wouldn't mind being in that loop.
Well, I think you have more than enough on your plate already. The fleet's headed to Ganymede, spoiling for a rematch. The Martian delegation is here willing to talk. I think one of us needs a clear head for peace to really get a chance.
Of course.
Venus was the end of Eros. I seriously doubt we'll find anything down there.
If we're lucky.
I have some drone surveillance of a Martian puking as soon as he steps out of his dropship. If you need a cheap laugh in the meantime.
Maybe later.
Wait, is he Martian?
It's time for diplomacy. We should get going.
I'll be with you in a moment.
You really believe he hasn't had any contact with Jules Pierre Mouse since Eros?
You tell me. That's your job.
All I can tell you is that he covers his tracks very well. And if that ship does find something on Venus, Ehrenreich is not going to tell you shit.
That's why I have an inside man.
Okay, so that's the ship that's going to Venus.
The alarm goes off on plane.
What are you doing?
I'm just helping this bright young lady adjust the sensor array.
That's hard to believe. I didn't think you had any useful skills. I want a full status report when you're done.
Of course, Colonel Janus.
Yeah, you're mispronouncing that. He's Portuguese, the J's silent.
So it's Colonel Amos?
Excuse me.
You know, I don't mind saying I'm getting rather excited about all this.
When I was little, I was fascinated by stars. I thought they were magic. Kept coming up with all these crazy theories about how they worked.
Yeah, I have a feeling I know where you're going with this.
Just because you can figure something out doesn't make it magic. What do you think Eros left behind on Venus? Little gray humanoids with big black eyes who come to turn us into food? I'm astonished that Australia didn't kick you out of her office.
Well, you know, just between the two of us, she's kind of got a thing for me, right?
Earth and Mars are mobilizing for war as we speak. They have better weapons than we do, and Eros was one of them.
Colonel, we just picked up an MCR and ship in Venus orbit.
Aggressive.
I don't know why we didn't see this before.
Must be a stealth. From the drive signature, probably a destroyer. They were waiting for us.
Doesn't look like we've attracted any attention so far. Good. Well, at least we got that much right. Keep a close watch.
I always do.
Not my first rodeo, Chief. All right, need your hand terminals, please.
Why are you doing this?
Because we need a ship to get us on the Ganymede station. And ours is too conspicuous.
The people there are suffering, you know. These supplies can save lives.
And they'll get where they're needed. I promise.
I don't believe you. Well, Waller.
Oh.
What we're doing is for the good of the belt. And everyone else, whether you believe it or not.
Oh, cool.
Well, this
Roll
ship
off.
is a grade A piece of shit. But she'll get us to Ganymede. We wouldn't bet on it in a race, though.
Have any of you been to Ganymede recently?
No, never.
The station is a mess. If you tell us what you're doing there and what you want, maybe we could help you.
No, thank you. We already have a guide.
Hello, my name is Praxidiki Meng.
Praxediki.
You don't know me, but I was a colleague.
Praxediki. Dude, this is like, I don't know if I can even pronounce that name.
I was a friend of your cousin
Still remember
Doris.
that. Praxediki.
We worked together on Ganymede. She saved my life. She got me out of the station when the mirrors fell. She was on her way back to Mars to be with you, but
She was badly injured in transit, and she died. She probably wouldn't have even been on the ship with me if she hadn't helped me. So I want to say I'm sorry. She was a good person. I promise I'll never forget her, and what she did for me.
Can you save it?
Amos. Amos! Amos! You didn't answer me when I called.
I was busy. Come on, we need you upstairs.
No, I need to send a message.
You can't.
It's important.
That doesn't make a difference.
Why can't I?
Cap said.
Am I a prisoner?
I don't think so.
Then I have the right to know why. And I'm not going anywhere until you tell me.
People just drag you out.
Sorry we weren't able to land you at night and spare you the shock of our sun and sky, but the Navy had flyover restrictions in effect.
I hope the strain of Earth's gravity hasn't been too much for you to bear.
Not at all. I was a Marine for 45 years. We trained extensively in 1G. It's like riding a bike.
With tires made of lead. It's nice to be having an actual conversation instead of trading recordings for once.
It would have been even nicer if you had met us halfway.
Perhaps we should begin with a moment of silence for the lives lost on Ganymede.
It's important to remember the terrible cost of battle.
In victory or defeat,
That's a good thing to keep in mind.
you should spread it to your fleet.
Maybe you could tell them when our ships get to Jupiter. It won't take long.
We're looking forward to it.
Really?
The reason we're here is to prevent a war.
573 declination is locked in.
Running a diagnostic on the solar reflection field. There's ionic.
The Martians are not responding to any of our hails.
They're trying to scare us away.
They have no more idea what's going on than we do.
Or they were prepared in advance to collect data on the field test of their new weapon. You can't dismiss the possibility. Put me on broadcast, please.
You're on.
To all vessels in the area, this is the UNS Arbogast. Any interference with our operations may be considered an act of war. Take us in.
Dr. Strickland pulled your daughter out of the clinic an hour before the battle started. If he's still on Ganymede and we find him, I believe we'll find your daughter.
You can stop pretending to care about my daughter. What does she have to do with this proto-molecule you're after?
How do you know about that?
I told him. He's helping us. We should be straight with him.
The proto-molecule, is that what really moved Eros?
We're all there, my friend. We saw it with our own eyes.
What could that have to do with May?
We don't know yet. But if it is there, the threat could be even worse than Eros.
We're going to do everything we can to find your daughter.
If the station's in ruins, its infrastructure network smashed. How are we supposed to find anyone there?
Well, the first step is getting there. We'll leave the Somnambulist once we dock, and then we'll intermingle with the locals.
And then?
And then we'll assess the situation and take it from there.
Your plan's always this vague?
This is about average.
You all must be very lucky.
We've certainly had our fair share.
Hey.
Mirror.
Oh, that's cool.
One of the few things not in dispute is that the battle on Ganymede began on the ground. We have brought in the lone survivor of the surface engagement. This is Marine Gunnery Sergeant Roberta Draper. She will be giving you her account of the battle. You're welcome to examine her power armor as well.
Its systems were badly damaged, but the logs will corroborate our timeline of the events to the extent that they can.
Thank you. I'm sure that will all be very informative.
Sergeant Draper.
Sir, my fire team was assigned to patrol the MCRN Zone Bravo on Ganymede Station. Shortly after the Scirocco, our support ship went into comms blackout. We observed movements on the UNN line approximately 2 kilometers distance and weapons fire. The UN Marines appeared to be charging our position.
So you're saying that we opened fire on you?
No, sir. We were out of contact with our ship and unable to confirm, and at the time, our comms were jammed on the field.
Is it possible that your Marines were testing their gear or conducting some sort of training exercise?
It's possible. We also had lost contact with our unit.
My team formed a firing line and prepared to engage if the UN Marines crossed 500 meters, which would have put them on our side of the zone. They were closing in on us fast. We mistook a training exercise as an active engagement and opened fire without orders. As commander of the fire team, the responsibility is mine.
The battle on the surface is what precipitated the battle in orbit. That's what devastated Ganymede Station. That's on YouTube.
According to our investigation, it was Private Richard Travis that fired the first shot.
He was born on Earth. His parents emigrated to Mars when he was a
Oh
child.
wow, they're gonna put
He'd
him
had
as a
some discipline
scapegoat. Really?
problems recently, which suggest he might have been trying to prove that he was more Martian than Earther. And what better way to do that than to take out some Earthers?
Really?
We appreciate your candor.
Thank you, Sergeant Draper.
Really?
We can't change what happened, but we can move forward in the effort of peace. Ganymede Station is an important food supply outside of Earth and Mars.
Wow, so
and
they
it's in
put-
neither of our interests to leave it crippled.
They put the blame on him.
We're willing
really?
to discuss reparations.
They didn't have to say all that crap about Travis. Why didn't you tell me they were going to say that?
Because I knew you'd react like.
Travis was a good soldier. He died for Mars, and you all just threw him into the goddamn crusher.
Travis did die for Mars. And if that story stops a war that we do not want, then he died a hero. You did well in there, Gunny. The hard part's over. You can relax now.
Wow, so they made him a scapegoat.
This young man is a perfect scapegoat, almost purpose-built.
Don't look a gift horse in the mouth, Christian.
You can't confuse Christian. Christian knows something. Christian's on point.
You be careful down there, Earther. Careful up here, Martian. You too.
All right, then. So we're done.
One last thing. I'd like to speak to Sergeant Draper again. I have a few questions. Just little things I need her to clarify.
Madam, this has been an exhausting session.
I find it hard to believe that a Martian Marine would be fatigued from sitting in a chair. We all came here in the hopes that we could begin to trust each other, and it would be regrettable to undo the progress we've made over something as trivial as this. I want to speak with Sergeant Draper now. Sergeant Draper, tell me, if you could choose, would you still serve?
Yes, ma'am. I want to do my part to make Mars a new Earth.
An entire nation dedicated to a common goal, to turn a lifeless rock into a garden. Did you know that the majority of people on Earth don't have jobs? They don't work at all.
I did know that.
You call them takers, I believe.
Yes, ma'am.
It's not that they're lazy, you know. It's just that we can't give them enough opportunities. In this building, it's easy to forget.
With all due respect, madam, where are you going with this?
Wherever I goddamn like. Travis's parents, they believed in your dream. They gave up everything to go to Mars, to provide a better life for their only son. I'm sure Travis believed in that dream as well.
He did.
Was he a good soldier?
One of my best.
Do you believe, after all that hard work, that Travis would jeopardize the lives of his fellow soldiers by foolishly jumping the gun?
No.
No? Then why would he open fire without orders? Did he panic?
I don't know. He...
Then why did he fire?
Well,
What was the reason?
we thought we were under attack.
Under attack? So you were fired upon?
No, he was trying to kill the enemy. I didn't even know what it was. Nobody did. He wasn't wearing a vac suit.
Sergeant Draper has been through a severe traumatic event. She needs to rest.
Whoever the fuck you are, stand down and let her speak. Unless there is something you don't want her to say.
Do as you've been instructed, Sergeant.
Sergeant Draper, what made you open fire?
She said.
It was Travis. He panicked.
Has Sergeant Draper answered all of your questions, madam?
It slipped. She slipped it out. She wasn't wearing a vac suit.
Thank you, Sergeant. That will be all.
The Martians are giving us a fair berth, but they've masked every one of our course changes precisely.
Bastards are shadowing us. How much further to the Eros impact site?
It's tough to tell through this atmosphere, but I don't think it'll be much longer.
What is that?
Well, it's just a bit of science history. It's the Drake equation. It suggests there are over 36 million advanced civilizations out there doing all kinds of things that we just don't understand.
If that were true, we would have detected signals by now.
Not necessarily. Space is a big, empty place. We might be too far apart, or perhaps they're just broadcasting the signals for too short a time.
Or maybe all those other civilizations are gone. Maybe it's the nature of intelligent life to destroy itself.
Well, I prefer to think that intelligent life can choose not to.
Colonel? Stop. Hold it. Go in on that.
What are you looking at? It survived?
Jesus.
Scans indicate the presence of biological compounds in the air above the crater. Life in an environment that melts lead. It should be impossible.
So it survived.
Just like a soldier on Ganymede without a suit.
I know your type. You're on a crusade. So go save the world if you think you can. I'll settle for helping a few of the poor souls who have to live in it.
We'll be out the door as soon as we land.
Good.
Reminds me of Baltimore.
Baltimore?
Yep. You're gonna like this, boss. Rice and beans and medical supply. Gonna be a nice haul.
Our agreement was 10%. Take 20. Skim the best. But these supplies, they're desperately needed.
Yeah, by us. See, this time we're taking all of the cargo and the ship.
We got company!
They were gonna kill you. We had to do something.
All clear.
Sorry.
Get off my ship! Go!
And he shot him. Okay, that was the Weeping Somnambulist, and I understand why it's called the Weeping Somnambulist because the captain, I'm assuming she's the captain, her husband, her boyfriend, her partner was killed, so you know she was weeping, she was crying. That's why it's called the Weeping Somnambulist. I understand it now. Little interesting thing that happened in this episode. We had Roberta Draper. Like I finally got her first name is Roberta. I'm probably not gonna call her that. I'm probably gonna just say Gunnery Sergeant Draper. But you know, she went before the UN and got to speak basically between like the Martian and Earth, I guess, representatives from the Martian Earth military, the Martian Earth Senate, and the Martian Earth's Secretary of Defense, I'm assuming, or Defense, I'm assuming. And she got to tell her story, but she slipped up, especially when she was questioned by Christian, because you can't get anything by Christian. Like she's on point about everything, so you're not gonna get anything past her. And you heard about she let it slip about the guy about the vac suit, and but the Martians want to cover it up and basically throw Travis onto the bus, the Martian who was born on Earth. So I mean, it was super political, and then we had like the two military. I'm assuming the military generals. I don't know if that's the new fleet commander. So I know the previous one he left. So I don't know what their actual titles are, but yeah, I mean they're going tit for tat each other in a peace summit. So it's kind of ridiculous and unnecessary, but politics and people, when they can get a jab in, they'll take a jab in. So it is how it is. The Somnambulists, they try to, that's how the Rocinante had to get into, well, basically like board them so they can get onto Ganymede. And yeah, they cost the Somnambulist the guy. I mean, they would have lost all their cargo to, I don't know if they were like, just people who were just exploiting the situation to just take it on and try to sell off that food. Because, whenever there's a crisis, there's someone who's, willing to make $1 on it. So it's life. It's how it is with people. But yeah, I mean they took him out, but the price was a little bit too high for that captain, and she lost like the person who meant the world to her. Also found out that Eros, the Promog's not dead. It landed on Venus, and apparently because Venus is it like the atmosphere on Venus is so terrible it can melt metal, but the protomolecule can survive. So it's I want to see where this is going because like the protomolecule seems like it could be like some super virus thing that's like, I mean, it maybe can be the one thing that like, makes Earth and Mars finally like calm down, but yeah, I can't see where this is going. Wait till the next episode. So as always, like, share, comment, subscribe, all that stuff down below, and I'll see you all later. Take it easy.